Welcome back. We're going to work on the RPG Maker game that I started in the last video a little bit more. One of the things I want to do in this session is to make it more like a game, whereas in the last video this was clearly just, it's called Awesome Quest. It's an awesome quest. Couldn't be more default. So I looked up this tool. This is Kassoon.com, and it's got a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons type tools, and one of them is this random plot hook generator. So I ran this a few times and looked at them, and I wanted something relatively simple because it's a simple game. And I like this one. The PCs are shipwrecked and must build a raft to escape. Okay, so we have a beach. We've got some things. We can do this to make this happen. Since the last time we recorded, I made a couple of changes. One of the things I was really interested in doing, if you click on database, we have the title graphic and we have the game over graphic. And I built... I went into the native files and tried to get something together, for to use a custom title screen and a custom game over graphic. It uses PNG images, and they have to be a certain size in order to be read. But as it turns out, okay, give me a second here. Let me get the documents. And this is RPG Maker. Which RPG Maker is this? This is distinctly 2003. And RPG Maker 2003. There we go. Let's pop it in here. Okay, so you can see my native files. Got a bunch of stuff here. A Quest. That's the game we're playing right now. So if we go to Game Over screens, that was going to be my Game Over screen. I thought if I could get it to work, I would get rid of Return of Ganon and just put other text there in its place. But it doesn't like that. So... I don't know. I don't want to get rid of it just yet. And for title screen, system? Where's title screen? Title. Yeah, here we go. This is just the box art for RPG Maker 2003 placed front and center. And I've done that with other games. My test game that I built for VX is the same way. It just uses the box art. I just thought it would be a little bit more appropriate than... especially since I'm using all the default assets, default characters and whatnot. But it doesn't like them. If I set that as my title screen, it bombs out. What's the name of that one? Title 1? Actually, you know what? One of the problems with this is if I change those files, I have to actually reload RPG Maker in order to see it show up. So we're going to change this to custom.png so that it doesn't share a name with one of the default assets. And let's try and run it. Okay, we're going to go to... Yeah, it shows up now. But if I try and select it, and I run it, oh dear, unsupported PNG image. And I think it's because the PNGs have to be 256 colors. And what I did was I just copied defaults and I opened them up in MS Paint. One of the things MS Paint does characteristically is it strips out those sort of restraints. So I could do this, but I would have to do it in GIMP and not in MS Paint. Thinking back, the last time I did it, even though it was another system, I think that's how I managed to make it work then. But that aside, let's talk about our game. Okay, so one of the things that's missing, assuming this works, actually, you know what? Let's just set these back. We're going to set this back to, oh, you know what? It won't let me pick a game over one. It won't let me pick a game over one. Okay, so that means every time I get game over until I get that resolved, it's going to bomb out. But that's all right, because game over situations are pretty rare unless you code them in on purpose. So what I want to do, let's play test it real quick. There you go. See, the level's been fixed a little bit since the last time we had that arena heavy metal introduction. Oh, yeah! All right. Got multiple comments on how that was really jarring. Yeah, okay. So it seems to work, and that's fine. But the thing is, it drops you right into the game. No game starts that way. So we need a cutscene. So what do? I know of the way that I have always handled this, and this is something that NG figured out and taught me. By the way, credit where credit is due, NG, in case you're watching. I want to make sure everybody's aware that NG and I, when we were kids, learned how to use this, and it was always NG who learned how to do something and then taught me how to do it. It was always NG. He was a step ahead of me. He showed me how to do portals and use them to go in and out of doors. He showed me, you know, how to build multiple maps and stuff. I wish I still had his RPG Maker 2000 version of Kolteka, because if you look at it, it was super primitive, and to this day, he's like, you know, I don't want the world to see that. That's just me playing around as a kid. But those are the games that really taught me how the system worked. And I had inevitably gotten, you know, a career in IT, you know, largely because of this. So props where props are due. So we want to go to the actors. So the way this works is I renamed some of them, but it's still the default actors for the most part. We have our bank of actors, and then we also have, in the system, we have the initial party. Okay, and it's set so that when it starts, it has all of the people and they are all visible. I want to change this so that when it starts, instead of the initial party being full of people, the initial party should be a ghost. So the first thing we need to do is add a new party member. There's probably another way to do this, but this is the way we've always handled it. So we're going to call this Ghost. And we want Ghost to have... I'm going to give it a face just because you should never see this in game, but just because I'm not sure what I'm going to do in development. And character set, can I make it invisible, or do I have to go out and find an invisible? Yeah, I messed with this a little bit off camera as well. I don't by default have an invisible like an actor set with one of the actors completely missing. I bet I could make that in GIMP. So this is going to be the Ghost for now. And then when I fix up that placeholder a character set, that will take the place here. So we'll go to System. Fourth person will be empty. Third person will be empty. Second person will be empty. First person will be Ghost. Okay. So we have our debug room. We've got our world map with all kinds of stuff. And we're going to make another base level, like root map, and it's going to be called Intro Cutscene. Okay. And this is where our game is going to begin. Start player position. Ba-da-ba-ba. So I want to make this a place that's empty where I can tell my story. Okay. There we go. So it's empty now. The player will start here. So if I run the game now, okay, it's just no music, no sound. Unfortunately, you can still see the person, but I'm working on that. So this is what we want to happen. I want to click anywhere on here and create a new event. Now, a little word of advice, okay? If you can and if you remember, name your events as much as possible. Because if you ever switch computers and want to rebuild your game and you find that there's certain assets are missing or something like that, or if the graphics get corrupt, or even if you just like want to run an event that calls other events, it's got to have a name. When I started doing some actual professional programming, one of the things they told us is if you name a variable something like vholder or something that doesn't describe it, you're getting a pink slip. So this is going to be intro event sequence. All right. Now we want to set this. By default, it's set up so that you have to walk up to it and press the action button. But we want this to auto run immediately. So there's a couple things that this is going to do. This is the intro sequence. All right. So it's going to show you some intro text. Then it is going to, let's see. I haven't done this in a long time. I really wanted to spend time like getting to know where all these things were again before getting on camera and doing another one. But I was afraid I just wasn't going to get it done if I did that. And I was really excited about making more. So we have a little intro text. Then change party. Somewhere here there's going to be some way to change the party. Change actor class. I don't know if show picture or okay, show picture and erase picture are different from show screen and hide screen. Okay, so at the end of doing that, we want to hide the screen, fade out. Okay, and then once we have faded out, we're going to fade back in. And so we want some stuff to happen after we've faded out. And one of the things that we've done is we're going to transfer the player to the world map where they can start. Face down. Fade out, transfer the player, fade in. So why bother with the fading out? And because while we're faded out and the user can't see, then we can change who's in the party. All right, so bear with me. Change state, change equipment, change parameters, change party member. Add Leo, insert, change party member, add French, insert, change party member, add there's 3. Did I skip one? I did. Artists. There you go. A few people. Fade out. Add those people. But we also need to remove the ghost. So remember that the ghost is going to be invisible. So the game will start. You won't see anybody. And then, at this point, this block of code is designed to end. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do something completely different. I'm going to copy all this. We're going to go to common events and intro cutscene. And I'm going to do it in common events so that it serves as a function. That way I can easily change the cutscene and I can add things to the cutscene. And all I've got to do is just, call this procedure. Okay, so now, rather than do that, this is the text sequence, and now we're going to do, where's common events? Common events, control switches, change variables, change gold, change items, change the expression. Come on, ADD, don't fail me now. Change state, damage processing, system graphic, show choices. Move to location, swap event location, show hide screen, set weather, conditional branch, call event. Yes, call event. So all I have to do is do that. Boom. That way I can add stuff and move that command to end the cut sequence wherever I want. And if there's a bug with it, I can go back to the bug and fix it later. There we go. See? This is the cut sequence. Great. Let's try it. See how it looks. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! I'm just I love making that voice, and it makes my kids so upset. This is the intro sequence. Hey, it worked. And we have those people. So the question is, can I do that instead of having Ghost? Can I do that without anybody in the party to begin with? So if we go to System, can we just do it with nobody in the party? Yeah, there we go. You don't need anybody in the party. I wonder if we even needed to do that back in the 2000 era. Now, the only problem with that is that introduces an issue where now, if you start anywhere except for this intro sequence room, like if I want to, let's say the game's getting big, and I want to start, right here so I can play test this area, start player position. Well, guess what? When I launch the game, now I'm not going to be able to walk around and do anything because I don't have a player. So this is a good this is a good reason to use a ghost. But the way I get around that is building the debug room. The debug room will have little warps that go all over the area, and if I start the game where I start the game, and somewhere here where the user can't get to will be a secret entrance to the debug room, which I think for now I might do just for fun. Let's make it this tower, and it's gonna go at player touch. We are going to teleport, which is where? Transfer player is what they call it in this game. I'm so sorry. I can't edit this. I can't edit out me blankly trying to figure out what to do, because if I do that, then the video just doesn't happen. And not that it's a wonderful, video experience that needs to be made. It's just that I'm enjoying this excuse to, play with RPG Maker again. Let's give it a try. Oh, forgot to fix the place where I start. Start player position. Has to start in the pink because the pink has this area. There you go. Is there a way Alt F12 to restart? Oh, okay. Is there a way I can just call... See, when you're playtesting, this doesn't work if I create a build of the game, but within RPG Maker, I can press F9, and this will let me change any of the switches I want, as well as variables, things like that. I'm looking to see if there's a way that I can call... Video options? No. Can I call common events, like while I'm in game? No, that would be awesome. Maybe I will make an item. Nah. Alright. Whatever. Let's make some more game, huh? So now we have a cutscene. It's not much, but it does exist. So here, we're going to put a couple things. We want a dramatic wait. Angie used to use a ton of these. And we will put... let's go back to our Dungeons and Dragons tool for setting... Yep. There's the story. And instead of this is the intro sequence, that's what it's going to say. Now we see a couple of lines here. I believe it's the second line is the end of the window if you're not using a face. So instead of PCs, heroes. So that means this is going to drop down the next line. Let's do... oops. Another dramatic wait. And then I don't know. Maybe maybe another dramatic wait is enough. Let's run it, see what it looks like. The heroes are shipwrecked and must build a raft to escape. It's awful text. But we do have a game. There we go. And I can go back and fill that in with dialogue later. But now there's a skeleton of what we're actually doing here. So the question is, when I load this up in the chipset, am I lucky enough that this chipset is going to have some sort of way that I can show a shipwreck? Because that would be awesome. If I had some sort of shipwreck by default. Nope. Don't do that. We just want a pencil. Boom. That might have to serve as our shipwreck. Great. And then when I flesh it out a little bit more, I can make like a close-up scene of like a boat that has crashed, and that's how you'll know. Awesome. So I can do that with a little creative storytelling with a cutscene. But now we don't have characters, but we know why they're here. They're here because their boat crashed in this harbor, which seems like a weird place to crash, but that's what happened. So what are you going to do? Oh yeah, there was one other thing that was really bothering me about this world map, is that we have the mountains here and we have the forest here, and there's no variation. So I thought an easy way to do that would be we would just put like 2 little mountain chips here, and then a little forest here. There you go. So now it kind of has a little bit of variation, and then maybe we do some thick grass in a couple places. How's that look? I think that looks better to me. Okay. This map needs a soundtrack. We need to change some of the music. That's a problem, at least, in my opinion. First of all, let's change the intro theme. Because I changed some of these things. Like I went through this and I set this to say an encounter because I wanted it to feel a little bit like wizardry, and that's what wizardry used to say when you would run into somebody. Sound effects, music, title screen. There it is. So when I build, at least with RPG Maker 2000, I used to use strictly, well, it only supported MIDIs. But in this game, I would also like to only use MIDI files. And the reason is because it keeps the file size down. So let's go to vgmaker.com or vgmusic.com, because this was the source. It took me right where I wanted to go, but I wanted to show you the list. Yeah, Video Game Music Archive. This is a very old site. You can see it looks very Web 1.0. I love this site to death. Established in 1996, and it still looks the same way as it did in 1996. Every video game I could think of, at least up until that time, shows up here, and all of their songs in MIDI format, right? So if you press this random song button, boom, it downloaded some random MIDI file. Let's pop it open and listen. Can I even pop it open and listen? That's an awful theme song. All right, let's try it again. Let's do another one. I like it, but not as a title screen. Let's try one more. All right, it's not great, but we need to move this along. So here's what we're going to do. Yeah, okay. I've just gone back to the native files for the game. Now, to be clear, you do not want to put this in the native files of RPG Maker, because if you do that, it will appear to work. But then as soon as you try and like make a copy of your game, it'll all be missing. I made that mistake, you know, when I was very young, and consequently I have a couple of old games that have a lot of graphics missing. So you can see it's under Documents, RPG Maker 2003, and then I found my game. And then from there, there's all the places where I can put things. So I'm going to go to, is it sound or music? Music, great. And I'm going to take that one that we just downloaded. And I'm going to put it, give me a second. Let's see if I can do this without it's looking too messy. No, it made another one. No, I want the TMNT2 one. You can see all my, these are ROM hacks of River City Ransom. I don't know if I can put those on YouTube because they were pretty explicit, as it turns out. All right, so I know it's not going to sound good, but let's see if we can at least make it work. Oh, that's right. I have to actually reload this game now. So we're going to leave RPG Maker 2003 and relaunch it. I'm interested in getting RPG Maker directly from the site that translated it or sells it, or the people who own it, who distribute it, because I would kind of like to have one that's not tied to Steam. And I love Steam, but this is one thing where I might just want the native application so that it's more like a utility and less like a game. So we'll go here, we'll go to the, and go to, where would it be? It's been too long, I don't know my way around anymore. Yeah, here we go. Go to the top, the very top, and it puts my custom stuff. And this is what we used to like to do when we were young and stupid and annoying. All right, there we go. So we have some other introduction music. Apply, open, let's run it. Okay, Awesome Quest is taking shape. All right, so we have introduction. Okay, and it'll after the introduction, it'll drop you here. You've got a village. There's nothing in it yet, but oh yeah, let's fix that. Town 1. Right click. Map properties. Save background. Okay, so I want to control how often you can save in this game. So I'm going to make it so in the world map properties, you can save here, but in the dungeon, saving is disabled. All right. World map. We want some music for the world map. So map properties, battle background, background music. Specify. Oh, we got all kinds of stuff. Is that not just the worst thing you've ever heard in your life? I recognize this from the RPG Maker 2000 stuff. We used to use that for bars and things. Field, I think, is where they hid their AB. No? Yeah, it is field. Alright, we're going to go with the first stuff. So now we have something for the world map, and we're going to go to Town 1. And we need specify. Okay, and we're going to go to Town. Town 1. Because we really want this to feel like every RPG Maker game ever. So here's the trick. That's fine. When I make the buildings in Town 1, all right? So we'll make a new building, and we're going to call this the inn. And let's just get... When I make the inn, rather than set it so that it says same as parent map, that's tempting because that's less work, but it's way better to actually get Town 1, the same song here, and then set the volume to 50%. Because it's not actually going to change from that MIDI file to this MIDI file. It will continue playing the same file in the same spot, but you'll hear the sound drop, and that is a good way to signify to the player that, okay, I'm indoors now. The setting has changed a little bit. I've always thought that translated very, very well. So we're going to go to map properties. We want this to be interior because now we're doing a building. And how does ceilings work in this game again? Oh, that's right. Like everything has to be... No, I don't remember. How did we do it in the debug room? Oh, we didn't do ceiling. We just did all walls. Okay. I guess we could do that. So what did this building look like from the outside? They were all these little, okay, like stucco buildings or something. Okay. So that's what we'll do here. And this is a really small one. So what should the floor look like? Rocks? Yeah, that looks okay. Okay. All right. Look at that. Now, the question is, can we get away with, like, getting rid of some of this? No, I want it to be totally black, like devoid of a tile. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That'll do it. Look at that. So when it's pink like this, that's the transparency. So that means without anything set, it should be black, just like you see when we did the cutscene. The cutscene, like when I actually play it, it's black. Or if I were to right-click and go to Map Properties, I could set some sort of parallax background. You know, like if they were in a spaceship, then I would make it so that we have this and it would run. But currently inside, and I don't have a parallax background that mirrors like the ceiling of a building or like wood rafters or something, although that'd be pretty cool. So this is what we've got for now. All right, so let's make our door. This one was right in the center, so we'll do that. And then we have, where's the shine in? There it is. That's the shine in. And then we're going to make our transfer player thing out. Okay. Transfer player to... Oh, we said this was the in. All right, that's fine. It's the in. There we go. And then... oh, wait. I'm sorry. It has to be player touch. Okay. So let's go back to the town. And then here in the inn. Transfer player to the inn. Again, we want this to be at player touch. Let's give it a shot. I like it. Those little pauses do a lot for dramatic effect. Okay, so let's go to our town, which has some semblance of sound now. See that? Doesn't that sound so much nicer? You're outside, you're inside. Another neat trick is instead of dropping the volume 50%, you can drop it 75%. And then if you go into the basement, then it drops 50%. So you see a volume drop here, and then you can have like multiple levels where it drops even more. However, this is a simple town, so you know we're working it pretty simple. And that's it. Wow, that ran 33 minutes getting that to do that. And what have we added? We added a little bit of music. We don't have a cutscene per se, but I added a working area where a cutscene can be placed. So eventually I'll have some real text, you know, and whatnot. And now it's no longer Awesome Quest with an area where there's no reason to be here at all. We now know that the point of the game is to escape the island, which is very important to have some sort of, okay, what are we doing here? What's the reason? Because that's not something that RPG Maker, any RPG Maker, even the current ones, they don't just give you that. You have to invent it and work it in there somehow using the tools. So we didn't make as much visual progress as we did in the last half hour, but I am now more attached to this. I feel way more like I know what's supposed to happen here. So we're going to call that it, and we're going to do another one as soon as we can. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys are having fun with RPG Maker, because I am.